Now let's move on to the next kind of approach, okay, a planning approach, that is the incremental planning. Okay, now this planning approach grows directly out of criticisms of the rational or comprehensive approach, most notably of its assumptions. Right? Now, a central premise of incremental planning is that systems and environments are too complex, okay, to be understood at the level of certainty that rational planning assumes. Information about the environment and systems is not reliable, and most theories and models which are available to planners to guide strategy development are relatively weak in explaining complex environments and problems. Now, incremental planners also question the separation of goals, planning, and implementation that characterizes rational or comprehensive planning. Now, this is seen as artificial and weakening implementation. Okay. They also question the assumption of centralized power that seems to go along with rational or comprehensive approaches. So, in other words, they question the social image of control. Okay. Incrementalism, which is sometimes called disjointed incrementalism, proceeds from opposite assumptions. The system and the environment are seen as complex and uncertain. Consequently, there is much emphasis on short-range planning. Planners propose short-term actions with heavy emphasis on learning from experience. Problems are analyzed on the margin, that is, in terms of the next best step given limited information. So there is much less attention to the evaluation of alternatives. The social image of incremental planners is one of consensus. Power is achieved through bargaining and compromise. Planning is decentralized, and planning, decision making, and action are rather integrated. Okay, so this facilitates learning. Planners working this way tend less to use formal and complex methods, partly because the short-range nature of the plans require less projection into the future, and partly because there is more reliance on informal and intuitive knowledge than on formal processed data. Critics of incremental planning often call it non-planning. In fact, the approach describes much of the planning that goes on in the world. Incremental planning theorists, however, have provided a rationale for planning of this type, helping us see the conditions under which it may be an appropriate approach. Incremental vacation planners may just get on the bus and go exploring. Okay, so perhaps they have little information about alternatives and little theory or experience to draw on. Okay, they say to themselves, I will plan today now. Tomorrow I will see what is happening and plan again. Okay, so they are willing to let their strategies evolve from experience and intuition. Okay, innovative planning. Thus far in our review of planning theories, we have contrasted two approaches which differ primarily in social images held, the ways in which planners go about developing strategies, okay, the way power is used, and the roles that planners play. There are other planning approaches, okay, which are similar in whole or part to rational or comprehensive planning or incremental planning, but which are different in different ways. One of these is innovative planning. Planners taking this approach step back somewhat from the planning process to look directly at how society is structured. Okay? Innovative planning emphasizes action through institutional change. Planners set up new systems to carry out programs in response to problems. In short, they create new systems and turn them loose to adapt to the environment. These systems tend towards incrementalism in planning because planning and action tend to merge in response to the problems the system has been set up to address. The emphasis is on the mobilization of resources through the creation of the new system. The establishment of new systems can lead to a competitive, relatively uncoordinated environment. So, innovative planning can be seen as an overall strategy to fit with or introduce a consensus form of social image. Over time, however, these new systems may stabilize and become part of relatively coordinated networks of institutions. Planning may then turn to yet another approach, that is allocative planning. Okay. Now, under innovative planning, you might question a vacation as a system to meet your relaxation goal. Instead, you might try to restructure your work and life to get more relaxation all the time. Right? Allocative planning. This planning approach is concerned essentially with the distribution of limited resources among competing users. It is the kind of planning which often goes on in bureaucracies competing for budgets. It appears with both control and consensus social images. Power and planning may be relatively decentralized, but there are rules and formally established procedures for planning and decision making. So planners in allocative systems tend towards rational or comprehensive planning, even if only on the surface. So this planning approach is often laid out in formally established rules and procedures. However, as many practicing planners will recognize, planning processes, especially in smaller system components, are often quite incremental. So in an allocative family, the head of the household would announce that certain resources were available for vacations. Family members would then prepare plans in competition with each other for these resources. Okay, let's move to the next approach, that is transactive planning. Okay, so this is yet another approach to planning, one which differs sharply from the others discussed so far in the purpose of planning. So, rational or comprehensive, incremental, innovative, and allocative planning approaches all see the primary value of planning in producing effective action and adapting the system to the environment. Right? But transactive planning sees another equally, if not more important purpose. Right? Participation in planning is seen as central to human growth and learning, both of which are seen as the highest goals in society. Thus, a purpose of planning is to involve as many people as possible in planning for action which affects their lives. Transactive planning changes knowledge into action through an unbroken sequence of interpersonal relations. Okay? These interpersonal relations are between planners who rely on processed and abstract knowledge and clients of planning who rely on personal knowledge. Planning is radically decentralized to permit this kind of close interpersonal contact between planners and clients. Planning can be either rational or incremental, okay, although extreme decentralization probably pushes it towards incrementalism. So the social image underlying this form of planning is one of consensus. The approach itself is a structure for consensus generation. Here, the important part of vacation planning would be what family members learn from planning together and with a consultant from the travel agency. If they feel better able to plan for themselves afterwards, more confident and capable, planning would be successful. Okay. The next approach is radical planning. Okay. The social images underlying the planning approaches discussed so far have been either control or consensus, right? But radical planning comes in two forms. Okay, this was actually said by Hudson in 1979. Okay, so each reflects a social image of radical change. One form emphasizes collective action at the grassroots to solve problems and foster self-reliance. Okay, the role of large systems, especially government systems, is minimal. The people are seen as struggling against the operation of large systems to establish their own forms of planning and action. This approach to planning differs from transactive planning in the absence of technical or professional planners. Instead of an unbroken interpersonal dialogue between planners and clients, the clients are the planners. The writings of Paulo Freire and Ivan Ulick reflect this approach. Okay. Now, father would find his relaxation goal attacked or ignored. This refers to the vacation again. Okay. So, different family members would advance their own goals and plan for themselves in their own way. So, the second form of this approach is most closely aligned with radical change. Because society is seen as oppressive and structurally wrong, large-scale restructuring is required. Correct. So the conflict may be between social or economic classes or among rival ideological groups. Okay. Planning as we customarily know it is not done. The emphasis is on a radical restructuring, often through violent methods. Okay, so the theories that guide radical action are political and ideological.